We've been tracking something now over the past couple of months that strikes really at the heart of the ongoing fraud that the Biden-Harris administration is perpetrating to hide the facts of what is really happening with our economy, especially ahead of the midterms. One of the most often underappreciated powers that an administration has is that they control the government's bureaucracy. And yes, while that means they can choose to do things like stop following the Trump-era remain in Mexico policy, when you have a hit job happening at your future campaign rival's house, they also have the things that they can do that you don't know that will have a huge dramatic effect on you. The power is in their hands to control this bureaucracy, and it gives the executive branch the ability to control all that you see, all that you read. You'll notice when the government doesn't talk about something and won't answer, for instance, on the warrant, the news on it stops because there's no information to report, and it stops. For the last few months, the Bureau of Labor Statistics has posted the red-hot jobs report. That's what you're hearing, red hot, showing June with a better-than-expected 375 new jobs added in June and another 500,000 plus in July. Both massively have beaten the expectations, have been touted by the Biden administration as proof positive that we're not in a recession, even though technically, as we have told you before, we have 2 quarters in a row of negative gross domestic product. But their thing is you can't have this kind of job growth. But remember, the data that is being touted comes from the bureaucrats that work for the administration, in this case, the BLS. So how are they reporting massive job gains and yet the economy is shrinking? That doesn't make any sense. And if we have all of these great jobs that are being created, how come I see help wanted signs everywhere? I can't get things like steel made. I can't get it because people aren't going to work. Why? Well, we've been looking into this. Turns out there's 2 primary ways that the BLS tracks things like unemployment. New jobs offered to workers, or job cuts, layoffs, etc. The first one is called the Establishment Survey, which is based on payroll data submitted electronically by thousands of companies all across the U.S. showing actual enrollment for employees on payroll. The other way the BLS tracks employment is called the Household Survey. Now, the Household Survey is based on a weekly phone and online survey process that heads of households fill out in over 60,000 homes in the U.S. You're supposed to compare these two to get the full picture. So for our purposes, the Establishment Survey tracks how many employees are actually on payroll reported by companies, and the Household Survey is more ground level, reported by actual people that are going or not going to work. In the past few months, there has been something that nobody has explained. Nobody could explain. It's mysterious. They don't know how this is happening because there's a divergence between these 2 reports, and they should be very, very clear and should be going in the same direction. On one hand, the Establishment Survey is the one that's showing robust and strong payroll jobs growth, meaning in June and July, it showed nearly 400,000 jobs in June, 500,000 new payroll jobs in July, and with their he that controls the bureaucracy controls the data privilege, the Biden administration, of course, is focused on that data point. However, the Household Survey, where they actually speak to normal, regular people, has shown the total number of people actually employed has gone down in both months. According to the households in the U.S., more than 200,000 people have lost their jobs in June and July. So how could you say, on one hand, there's 400,000 more people getting a paycheck, and in the household, 200,000 people have lost their jobs? How's that work? Well, it turns out the answer is in the number of workers who are taking on more than one job. See, they can say that the economy is really, really good if you just look at one of the numbers. But if you put the two numbers together, you realize, wait a minute, people are working two jobs now. Let's say you have a household of four people. Two are employed, two are not. So maybe a husband and a wife are both employed full time, but the two teenage kids aren't currently employed. Pretty typical U.S. household. Next month, because somebody has to earn some extra money to save for the kids' college funds, the wife takes on the establishment survey from the BLS would show that a new job is a new payroll job. That's the number the Biden administration has been citing about March. Company payrolls have more employees on them, so they report that's a new job. However, the household survey still shows there's only two people in the house employed. The number of Americans who are now working more than one job just hit a post-pandemic high, with more than 7.6 million Americans currently working two or more jobs that are at least 15 hours a week. Also, according to the household survey, the number of Americans who are working two full-time jobs, at least 30 hours per job per week, has spiked to an all-time high, with 4.4 million Americans currently having to work two full-time jobs. When Biden took office, the number of Americans working two full-time jobs was 2.3 million people. But fast forward through July of this year, and that number has doubled. Even as recently as February 22, the number of Americans working two full-time jobs was under 3 million people. But just since March, it has gone from just under 3 million people to 4.4 million. So nearly all of the new payroll jobs gained since March 22, which the Biden administration claims is 1.8 million, were just 1.4 million Americans taking on a full-time second job just to make ends meet. Now, is that a robust economy? Are those jobs that just are good, hard-working, good, paying, excellent, pull you out of poverty jobs? Well, if there's 1.4 million people that are taking them because it will just help them make ends meet, it doesn't sound like it's all that good. Beyond that, where are the missing Americans? Where are the people that had these jobs? Where are the people that are looking for these jobs? Because they're nowhere to be found. I'll tell you where they are. They are no longer counted because, remember, if you control the bureaucracy, you can count what you want in any way that you want. They don't count people who say, I'm not looking for a job. Here's the key to the lesson here. By thinking that they aren't lying to you, but in reality they're committing fraud because they think you won't dig. They think you're too lazy to do the homework. And you won't see that at the household level. Total members of the household who are employed have been flat year to date, even though they claim nearly 2 million new payroll jobs are on the books. But when they're being fulfilled by the same people just working a second job just to make ends meet, that is not a sign of health in the economy. And by only citing half of the data they collect each month and pretending that the household survey doesn't even exist, the Biden-Harris administration is hiding the truth and hoping that you are too stupid or too lazy to figure it out. Let me tell you now, the time is coming. Boy, this is true. The time is coming where you won't have people like me able to tell you these things. The most important thing you can do, the first thing you must do, is know your rights. Have you asked anyone this week, have you even thought, when I heard that there was a warrant issued for Mar-a-Lago, And then I found out that they didn't show the warrant. She had to stay 10 feet away from the warrant, his attorney. And I thought, is that even legal? I thought they had to hand it to you. They don't give you all of the attachments, but they have to show you, and you have to be able to read the judge's signature and say, okay, all right, it's a legal document. Let you in. They didn't do that. Is that legal? Is that close enough or not? Do you know? Do you know if they don't come with a warrant, they just tell you they have one, and you say, I want to see it, and they say, well, we don't have it here, and if you make us come back, it's only going to get worse for you. Do you know how to handle that? Do you know what to do? Because all of these things are going to start happening to you. All of these things with the IRS, with the ATF. Does the IRS and ATF, can they come to your house and just say, we want to look into things? We need to see your guns? Do you know how to handle that? You know, we haven't read the Constitution for a long time because we think we didn't need it. We thought we knew I've got rights. That's not going to be good enough soon. Those rights are almost gone. And you better know them. You better know them. Otherwise, you could make things worse for yourself. You have to know how to act. And then beyond after that, you better know how to read the news, how to decipher things, and find the truth yourself. Because believe me, your kids are not being taught that in school.